It's Pat Mertis, spelled M-E-R-T as in Tom, E-S, detective with the police department with Sioux Falls PD. We're out here today doing a search with dogs for Ellabeth Lodemeyer. She went missing March 6th of 1974. The reason we're out here today is her wallet was found in late April of 1992 along the banks here. Through some other interviews and some stuff we've done, we felt that there were some leads to follow up on and see if there's some possibility. I was at a lecture and met Jim Peters, who you're going to meet here in a minute, the dog handler, and ran the case by him, and he thought there was some potential to run the dogs and see if maybe we could get some investigative leads today to help bring closure and help find Ellabeth. So.
Prompted the search in this area? You said her purse was found here, but was there anything else that pointed you here?
Yes, her wallet was found here in '92. We've also spoken with some people that were close to Mr. Gene Lodemeyer, and there's some ties to this area, which prompts, I think, us to look further and just to do a thorough investigation and make sure that we've covered this.
Has this area ever been searched before?
Yes, in '92 they did a ground search. Obviously technology's changed. There's different resources now in that than they had 27 years ago. So just taking a new look at it, like we're doing with all our cold cases. Just keep plugging away and looking at it and seeing what information we can find and what new things we can develop from there.
You mentioned new technology. Are you going to be using some of that technology in this search?
It's possible with ground penetrating radar and things like that. Now today we won't be doing that, but it is possible with if we do get any indications that there's possibly any human remains out here, that's some options we have. And ground penetrating radars come a long ways, and this isn't the best terrain, and so again with new technology there's some new sources that we can use that might be of option if we get something further to look into today.
Is there any concern about the cold having an impact on the dog's ability to search?
I know nothing about that, so speaking with the handler, I put my faith in him, and he has got quite the impressive resume, and I think his dogs are ready to work, and we hope for the best today. So.
How big an area are you going to be searching, and what kind of terrain are we looking at?
Basically, as you can see, it's a thick wooded area, prairie grass. If I had to put an estimate, probably about 6 acres total would be on it. It's right along the river, so yeah, thick debris, not the most friendliest to walk through. So.
How long have you been on this case?
I've been working this since 2015.
And you would be more than happy to get a new lead today, correct?
Yes, we continue to receive leads. We've really been pushing media a lot lately. I want to say in the last 2 to 3 years we've had about 20 leads total. Looking to each one of those. Some we're still looking into. Some we were able to clear out right away. But we're always looking and always willing and wanting information when we can get it from the public. So.
And if you get a hit today from the dogs, that'll be good. Are you optimistic about that?
You never want to get your hopes up too much, but you definitely. We hope for the best for the family. Bring closure for them, and they're well aware of what's going on here and being updated. So that everybody's cautiously optimistic that we'll have good results today.
What happens if and when you do find something? What's the next stage after that?
We'll have to evaluate from there. Obviously, with weather conditions, if soil's frozen, things like that. We'll evaluate from there. We're just seeing what things go and then kind of game plan from there. So.
Is it possible you'd have to close off the area or something like that?
That might be. It just depends on what we get, and we'll just have to evaluate kind of at that point. So don't want to put the cart in front of the horse. So.
Can we talk to your partner here?
Sure.
Good morning. My name is Jim Peters. I'm a partner in a business called Samaritan Detection Dogs. We're based in Ames, Iowa, and we do a variety of things with the dogs. We've looked for endangered turtles. We've looked for invasive weeds. We're currently working a project looking for some barrels of moonshine that were buried in 1930, and we also do a lot of work with historic burials, pioneer burials, all the way into native burials that are over 1,000 years old. And then we also do search and rescue work where we look for the recently missing with our dogs.
This one's not so recent.
No.
Is that how confident are you in your dogs? I'm sure very, but can you tell us about the challenges between terrain and age and all that you'll be dealing with?
Probably the greater challenge. Sure. Probably the greater challenge would be predation, just from carnivores wandering through the area over the years. Early on, any bone fragments would have been attractive to them, and at this point probably not so much, but there may still be some, we call them volatile organic compounds, emitting from the any pieces of bone that might be out there, and that's what the dogs are looking for.
How much experience do you have in searching for decades old? I guess you said that you've done thousands of years old.
Yes, yeah, we work with archaeologists in Iowa, and we've worked native burials that were quite old. In fact, they call them prehistoric burials, and then pioneer burials. This will be, well, in fact, we got into historic and prehistoric burials because of cases like this. We were curious about how old of a burial the dogs would work, and we went to an area with an archaeologist, and there were pioneer burials there from the 1850s, and the dogs had no problem, and there were also native burials there that were 2,000 years old, and the dogs showed the same behavior.
So how did you get involved in Ella Beth's case?
Pat and I met at a seminar probably 2 or 3 months ago, and he mentioned this case to me. I said, yeah, it's worth a try. And I understand a lot of what we do in our business and in the search and rescue world is if we can't find a salvageable subject, then we can help bring closure by finding any remnants of the missing person.
Can you tell us something about the names and breeds of the animals that you've been working today?
Today I have Rocky. He's a 7-year-old German Shepherd, and I was lucky enough to rescue him, and then Jojo is a 5-year-old red heeler, and I picked her out of a shelter in Iowa. We like the dogs that have high drive. It's my impression there's 2 kinds of crazy dogs. There's dogs that are just crazy, and then there's dogs that are crazy because they're bored and they need something else to do. And these 2 are amazing. And I want to remind you that anything they do is not because of me, it's just that's what they do. They can find those really old burials. If you Google it in, I think 2010, some Army brass went to the Pentagon and said, well, we've spent $19 billion trying to replace bomb dogs with technology, and we can't do it. So I can't explain everything they do. It's just what they do.
How are the weather conditions today as far as the search? Is that going to help or hinder them in any way?
It's good. I wish the wind were actually just a little bit lighter. We often like the wind to help push scent to us, but if we're looking for something like a bone fragment, the lighter the wind, the easier it'll be for the dog to get its nose on that fragment.
How long do you expect to be out today?
Oh, hour to 2 hours. We're going to take our time.
How do you conduct the search? Do you lead them anywhere, or do they lead you?
I just take them out one at a time and walk behind them. My job is to define the search area and turn them loose. And their job is to use their noses and see what they can find. So it's about operant conditioning. For example, if there are other animal bones or deer bones out there, they don't pay attention to those because they've learned that showing interest in those doesn't get them a toy. Operant conditioning is the old way of saying quid pro quo. Yes.
remains.
Yes, yes, yeah. There's zero reward, so they show zero interest. And Rocky specifically just works on human-related stuff. He could track you if you just laid your cell phone down and he could sniff it, or we could throw your cell phone in the weeds and he could go find it, if you want to trust me.
Are you based out of Ames? Or
Yes, sir.
Right. Well, I guess we'll let you get to work, and hopefully you come back with something positive.
Okay, yeah, I hope so too.
How do you spell JoJo? J-O-J-O?
Yes,
2 words?
yeah. Mostly it's crazy girl, crazy beach. Yeah, she's nuts. And if you're still around when we're working, once the dogs come out of the truck, they're like you, they're on the clock. When we're done, if you're still around and you want to pet them, that's fine. I'll tell you, the German Shepherd is very friendly, but unless you have a ball, he doesn't really care about you. And JoJo is quick to roll over and get a tummy rub.